All right, cool. I think this might be rolling now. Hey, rock stars, I'm Lid Shaw, and in this video, we're going to take a quick look at this new plugin. Okay, I shouldn't say quick because it's never quick, but we're going to take a look at this awesome new revamp plugin called Trash from iZotope by Native Instruments. So let's take a look at this thing. All right, cool. So the Trash plugin has been around for quite a while, and it's been this great go-to plugin from iZotope that lets you add distortion and saturation to sounds when you're mixing or creating or whatever. You can put distortion on anything you want. It's super, super flexible, and it has all kinds of ability to change the sound of the distortion, the kind, the blending, the EQ, add other effects to it and stuff like that. But recently, they came up with a new total makeover revamp of Trash to make it super flexible, and it now includes a lot of cool new features. So let me jump over to the website. We'll take a quick look at the landing page, and then we're going to jump into a session and give it a quick listen. So here we are at iZotope.com, and if you want to go check this out, you can. Oh, you know what? I hope this saved my settings. Let me see if it did. Yep. Okay, cool. Just want to make sure you can hear everything as I do it. All right. So here's the landing page, iZotope.com. Trash is the new plugin, or the new redo of it. And they've changed the whole look and feel. And basically they've added new stuff like convolution reverbs, which are really cool. And then you can do a variety of stuff. So let's just look at it here. Here's what the new look is going to be. And you can see that there's the ability to change the distortion. You can use an XY pad to go between different distortion sounds. You've got the ability to change the convolution reverb and go between different reverb settings and be able to use an XY pad for that. So you could actually use double out XY pads. And then you also have a filter for the output that can be controlled by the envelope, which gives you added ability to make changes. And then you also have things like auto gain and limiter for the output. Here's some quick looks at what these, I guess they'll play samples. We can listen to it, see what it sounds like on their website too. See if this will play. I'm wide awake. I'm wide awake. I'm wide awake. All right, and here's after. All right, that's a little before and after. So we'll flip through these and see what they sound like. Here's the convolve reverb. After. Whoops, here we go. Oh, I guess it's not going to play. Let me see if it'll play. I'll try one more time. All right, we'll go to the next one. We're at the mercy of a Chrome browser here. So before, multiband. After. That's cool sounding. So you can break up your distortions and your convolution, basically all your treatments into different bands, and then run them through the envelope filter. Here's the envelope filter effect before, and then I'll flip to after. Here's after. All right, that's cool. Super, super cool. You get mix settings for your trash and your convolution reverbs. Oh, look, it goes to iPad too. Wow, I didn't even try that yet. So it will do iPad as well as desktop. And I guess it's the first one that they're getting ready to release for the iPad. So that's really exciting. So yeah, you can get that on the App Store if you want to check it out. All right, let's flip over to Pro Tools and we'll see what it looks like in action. Dig it? Here it is. This is the default setting. The very first thing you see at the top of this, if I go quickly across, you got the name and the logo. You've got this dice here for randomizing, where it'll randomize and flip through the different presets. I don't have the presets loaded up in my version yet because this is like a pre-release version, so I could show this to you right away. But when you get it, you should have presets in there. You can hit the roll the dice and just instantly come up with different sounds. You got, of course, a bypass here. You've got a mix slider. So overall, you can go to dry for your sound, and then you can blend it in just to taste if you want, or you can go 100% mix. And then you've got a settings icon here, which is going to let you turn on things like tooltips. You can send back feedback to iZotope, so help them improve it, and then you can authorize as well. So that's cool. Now jumping down to the next section, the first section we see over here is this whole block, and this is trash. And so trash is the distortion algorithm part of how this works. And you've got a bypass button where you can turn it on and off. And then you've got your drive slider, which is going to give you, less or more of it. And you can see the shape changing over on the right. I've got the tooltips on now, so that's popping up on the screen too. And hopefully that'll help you if you want to be able to read what knobs I'm touching at the same time. So this controls the input gain to the distortion. Then down below here, you have a tilt EQ, which basically can brighten up the sound or darken the sound that you've got like that. And then this would be the tilt frequency. So tilt is like if this defaults to 1K, then tilt means that when you tilt it brighter, everything above 1K goes a little brighter and everything below 1K goes a little darker. So that's kind of how that works. And then you got a mix knob to, again, blend dry versus the distorted mix. And then each one of these corners, this is like an XY pad, where in this top left corner, you can have one distortion, another one over here, another one down here, and another one over here. And then you can move it around in between them to get a different sound for the distortion. So that's pretty cool. We'll listen to that in just one sec. And then also you have the roll the dice feature here as well. Next on this, I've got this one. This isn't giving me the tooltip, so I'm not 100% sure what this is. It may be something where because you notice if you move this, you get these different dots. I think it's supposed to either snap back or it's supposed to bounce between the two. Between these two different settings or something. So that may be, again, something that my pre-release is just not showing me the tooltip on. But then we go over here to this next window, and this is like the trash side, but in reverse for the convolve, and convolve basically means you take a sound sample that might be the sound of a space, like a reverb or a particular ambience, and you can convolve, you can basically blend your original sound into that. And that's, of course, how you get convolution reverbs and impulse reverbs. So they take an impulse sound of something. So you can boost the convolve. It starts out dry, and then you can boost it all the way up and add more of it. And same thing as before. You've got all these different ones in the four corners here, and you can use this XY button to go between them while you're listening. And then below that, you have this one, which says width, and it adjusts the amount of stereo width in the convolved signal for the mid-band. And the reason it says mid-band, this is really interesting. This one's also going to say this for stereo-wise. This says add stereo separation to the convolution for the mid-band. And what that is referring to is up here, it defaults to one big giant band. So the default when you start out is it's going to affect everything from 20 hertz all the way up to, it doesn't say, but probably 20 kilohertz, whatever the highest frequency is, depending on your sample rate and your cutoff filter. And so it defaults to calling that the mid band. There are two other bands. There's a low frequency band and a high frequency band. And all you have to do is just go up to this and you grab this little popsicle looking thing over on the left and drag it over. And now you click here, and now you've got everything controllable in the low band area. Click here. Now everything's controllable in the mid band area, and then do the same thing on the right. And now you have a high band. So when we were looking over at the website and there was that example with the bass, they were treating the lows, mids, and highs differently. And that can be a super effective tool for really dialing in and controlling your sound too. So now if I go down here and hover, you'll see it says adjust the amount of stereo width in the signal for the high band. And so it's letting you know with this tooltip which one you're adjusting. So that's a pretty cool thing. So you've got this low, mid, high frequency. You've got the trash section. You've got the convolution section. And now let's go to the bottom, take a quick look. And you've got a filter here. Now the way to think about the bottom is a couple of things. You've got envelope, filter, and then basically input output. Let's go to the input output first because that's on by default. And so with that, you have an input setting that goes into the plugin so you can control the level going in. You've got an output setting, which is be your output volume. And then you have a very handy auto gain feature. So now this is really handy because, of course, when you're affecting the sound, you're adding all this distortion, you're making things sound louder, and you're really getting it to slam, that's going to make stuff a lot louder. And so it can really affect your perception of whether it's helping or hurting the sound in your mix. And so auto gain, of course, controls the output. It gives you that ability to keep the level matched while you're changing the sound to make sure that you actually like the new sound if it was at the, kept at an appropriate mix level. And then there's a limiter button as well too, which means, when you're slamming the sound, you might really get loud, and the limiter kind of does an additional control to hold that sound back for you. Now, last but not least, in these other two ones, you've got filter. So if you come here and turn on the filter, it's basically a low pass filter. And so you have the ability to cut this frequency, and you see the line moving down there. Oops, sorry. I forgot to switch back to the other view. So let me go back to it now. Let me go over and show you what I just talked about. So you had this input and the output here, and then you had the auto gain, and then you had the limiter feature that I was telling you about. Now on the filter is this middle section. Sorry, these are the risks of live streaming it. I got to keep an eye on the different views below, but this helps me get it to you quick. So over in the filter section, you turn this guy on, and now you have the filter cutoff frequency here. So it's a low pass filter. And I don't remember whether we can change the filter itself. I don't know that we have that yet. So maybe that'll come in a future one. But for now, it's a low pass, and you can adjust the frequency here of the low pass filter. The scream is like, whoa, that's like a intense resonant filter that you can add for a little more action. And then heat is like a little bit more gain and boost from that filter just to make it crunch a little harder if you want. Now you go over to the left, and then you see the envelope section. And the envelope, here, let me scoot this a little bit away so it's not under my video too. And the envelope section is controlling the filter section. So when you boost this modulation, that is going to modulate the envelope, which modulates the filter. It's a little bit confusing to me at first, but the modulation modulates the envelope and the filter. I believe that's how it works. And then over here, you do this plus minus. So this adjusts the amount of modulation applied to the filter cutoff. I know it's sort of like having to do two things to think about the one. But what you do is you boost this way up, and then you cut the filter way down. And again, I'll hover over this so you can see it. And you'll notice that the white line is your actual cutoff frequency, so where it's starting. And then the blue line is the amount of the modulation that it can go up to when it opens up the filter. But it's doing it all based on the settings of the envelope. I guess that's the way to think about it. Unless I'm misunderstanding it. But then you've got this attack and release of the envelope itself. Let me see if I hover here what it says about it. Okay, it's not giving us the tooltip for those ones. Oh, there you go. So if I hover, it says adjust the release time, adjust the attack time of the envelope follower for modulation, and then adjust the gain of the envelope modulation signal. So there you go. So that this creates an envelope signal that affects the filter. So let's jump in and we'll give this a quick listen and we'll see what it sounds like. Maybe I will, I'm going to start out with all mid-range so you can hear what that's doing. And so we expanded our 3 thing. And then I've got some drums loaded up, some bass and some keys. Let's just loop this drum bit here, and I'll do it in bypass so you can hear it first and see what it sounds like. So just a cool drum loops. straight out of the Pro Tools loop library, and I'll unbypass it. Okay, so now let's listen to some of these distortions. So what I did is I moved this up to the empirical here at 1, and then I'll boost the trash. And you can hear it's distorting that, right? And you'll notice that I have, it might be pretty loud for you, but hopefully you can still hear my voice. Let me bring down the output just a hair. So keep it in the zone here. And then you'll notice that the auto gain is on. If I turn it off, okay, I didn't change it too much. If I bring this up to 0 and turn the auto gain off, great, you can notice it gets a little bit louder. Auto gain kind of keeps it in the zone. So now if I move this around, I'll go to some different distortions. See how that one sounds different from this one over here? And this one's like insane sounding. And of course you have control for how much you want, but I'm going to do extremes now just to show you this stuff. And you can adjust it in real time, moving between. And then you come up here and hit the randomizer. And let's tilt it. So all of these different settings should be automatable too in a session. So that makes it cool where you could do some expressive stuff. Again, you could also, if you've got the right kind of extra setup with a, I don't know, iPhone or like a Android tablet, Kindle Fire maybe, or any kind of pad or tablet and iPad, you could probably get XY control too. And I'm not 100% sure, but wouldn't it be cool if the iPad version of this actually talked to your session on the desktop too, and you could use those XY pads to control while you're mixing. If you're watching this iZotope and Native Instruments, that might be a thing to check out. Now let's jump over here and listen to the convolution reverb, and I'll just put this in default. We'll find out if it's still distorting it or if it sounds a little more clean. Yeah, it's still distorting. I'll turn this off so you can really just hear convolve for the moment. So that's back to our clean sound. Yep, if I bypass the whole thing, it sounds the same. I'm going to boost this up. And then we can go to these different. So convolution is like, it can be a big old reverb, but it can just be like a funky space. Like this is inside a fishbowl, literally, probably. Or you can sample the sound of it going through something like a cheap radio. Aluminum dust. I don't know what that is. Let's hit the randomizer. Pretty cool. Let's try out the width. Okay, let's try the stereoizer. There you go. It's getting pretty loud again. Okay, so now let me show you also how these work when you're like looking for some different sounds in here. If you click on it, it just pops up this whole navigation window, and you've got all these different convolution impulse responses: tone, amps, effects, body, edge, tail, animals, vowels, and then we can flip through them to listen to them, and you'll notice that this little thing over here, I think, shows us which corner we're in picking our sound for. Oh, this is really cool too. And I guess this is just the mic icon. It's saying they actually got all these convolution effects with different mics. So you've got a dynamic mic version, a ribbon mic version, a condenser mic version. It's getting pretty deep here. And then you've got custom down below, and I think you can load up your own. So that's pretty badass. So you could actually create some of your own convolution reverbs and import them. Let me go see also if you can do that on the distortion side. Wouldn't that be cool? I have to turn it on. Let me turn it on, click on a distortion. Okay, no, it looks like the distortions are, you can just use the ones that come with it. And you've got all these different distortions as well. Again, let me go to convolution reverb, and I'll show you how this works. So if I press play, well, we'll just flip through a few. Actually, let me make sure. Yeah, so I'm going to go all the way into this corner, so we're only hearing this one convolution reverb. Amp, guitar amps. Oh, and then we're still in the stereo thing. Okay, cool. Let me go to animals. Maybe that's a cat meowing or something. I don't know. I don't think there's a way to just actually hear the impulse, but that's hilarious. You got vowels. Oh, there's reverse ones. So as you can tell, this is super powerful because you can like really change up a sound pretty effectively with this. You got reverbs. Let's just see what these sound like. And if you bring the mix back, that's dry again with crazy reverbs. Let's go listen to, hopefully you can get a picture of how effective that's going to be. Let's go to this, and I want to show you flipping through some distortions, and then we'll look at the filter too. So again, we'll do the same thing. We'll just go hardcore into one corner so we can flip through some of these different sounds. Oh, I think I might have to boost the distortion. It pretty much starts out with something. I'll keep it subtle. Actually, those are pretty subtle, so let me really boost that up. Gentle push. Blues driver, busted. There you go. These are cool. All right, so hopefully you can get the picture of how cool that could be. And then, of course, each sound has got a different quality to it. You can start incorporating this into your mixes. You can put it into your sound production where you're just trying to like create cool new sounds to start with. You can use it as a mixing tool where you're just looking for subtle saturations and things like that. I'm not sure. This one's called iron, so there's probably a little bit more like saturation through a transformer. I'm not sure if they're trying to do tape so much. They might be, but again, you could probably get an effect that feels great like the sound of tape does. You could probably go pretty subtle, but I think this is really useful for doing some stuff that really kind of changes sounds too, which can be really cool. I think it would be great to find vocal sounds on here. So let me pull up the filter and we'll take a look at that. Let's see, which sound do we want to do? Probably maybe a little less extreme. Let's go with Crunchy Taco because that's got a lot of highs in it. And let's see if we can get this filter thing to do its filtering trick. So I'll go like this. Let me start out with it really down. Okay, you can hear just low frequency right now. It's totally filtering everything out. And if I bring this up, all right, now one of the things is I got to make sure that the envelope is happening fast enough and closing fast enough in between so we really hear the effect of it. So you hear it when I really bring this down to make it quick, because those drums really like come and go so fast. Let me try some of these other drum beats and see if... I think that's just, what is that, just a kick? No, it's a full drum kit. So let's mess with this for a sec. All right, so we are going to... If we boost up the scream, there you really hear it happening there. So obviously that sounds like that's kind of a wacky sound right there. I think with the filter, you want to be selective depending on the sound you're working on and find something that really sort of fits nicely for it. Let's go over to the bass for a second, see what we got. Whoops, let me go back to this. And I think I just closed the window by mistake. So there we go. Let me go to zero this out, and we'll pull it on the convolve. Whoops. And we'll zero that out, and we'll turn off the filter, and we'll just look for some space distortions. And this is starting like this. That's super cool. Yeah, you could totally like make a bass part way more interesting. Let's put up some convolve. Oh, let me show you what this does too. I'm sorry, I meant to show you this. So you can flip-flop these too. So just click this button. Now the reverb convolve stuff is before the distortion, and that's a whole different sound. Listen. Well, I didn't have any reverb in there yet, so let me start over, and I'll show you what happens when we flip it. So we'll add some convolve. Now we'll flip it. Totally different kind of sound, right? And then you've got this tilt EQ, so you can dial it in. And that's cool, and you can bring in that filter. We go to the next one. Let's see if I remember the key command for that. Control, nope. Oh, maybe because I'm not on the plugin. Yeah. And let's try the band pass. So see how it just changed the mid? We're not doing anything to the lows yet, I don't think yet. So now I'm just affecting the low frequency. And you can solo them too, so you could just solo up the lows and get like kind of a cool... All right, so that's just the lows. And then I go up here, you get solo the mids, but then you got to unsolo the lows. So now here's just the mids. And let's see, what do we want to do? Do something like that. That sounds cool, right? All right, so now let's solo the highs and unsolo the lows. Okay, I don't know what kind of highs we're going to have in here. We'll find out, right? We might have to go for some sort of like hissy. Yeah, so we'll do that. Let's randomize this guy. Whoops, I got to turn up the convolve. All right, so there's some kind of sound for the... All right, great. So now unsolo this, And now we've got a new sound from this bass right here to this one right here. All right, cool. So hopefully that gives you a look at what this thing does and how cool it is. Let's see what they want to tell you about it today. You can get it now. If you click the buy now, let's see if it takes us there. And it's a really handy thing. You can also get the light version for free. So you can start with that if you want to just go check it out and see what you think first. Actually, my internet's acting up, so let me flip back over. See if we can get the light version. Actually, don't even need to click it. Just go get the light version. Go try it out. I think you'll be digging it. I think you'll be happy about it. It's definitely compatible for the Apple M1 chips. Again, the website shows you some before and afters and gives you some ideas. They got another video that gives you a whole breakdown of it here and what it does and how it does it. I just wanted to give you a chance to have a quick look at it and see what it sounds like and see what you think. So thanks very much for watching. If you dig this and it was helpful, hit that thumbs up button and hit the subscribe so you help our channel and help this video reach more people. And that helps me out a lot. I appreciate it. And then if you want to get my free mix training, I've got a free course called Mix Master Bundle. That link is also in the description, as well as the link over to Trash. So you can just go click through and go check out this plugin, and we'll see you guys in the next video. Cheers.